A human skeleton was nailed to a cross by a band. Everyone assumed it was a prop, but it was actually a real human skeleton. Police arrived and shut down the show. The police investigation revealed that the band had stolen the skeleton from another band 6 months earlier. The forensic pathologist found obvious discoloration on the skull. The victim's ribs had been broken by the killer. The ribs were separated from the spine and then spread outward to make them appear like eagle wings. In ancient times, this was a form of torture called the blood eagle. There were no signs of bleeding in the bone fragments at the rib fracture sites, indicating the ribs were broken after death. From this, it appeared the torture was not the actual cause of death. Independent testing found no embalming agents, proving the deceased wasn't dug up from a grave, which corroborated that this was a murder case. Hodgins detected makeup compounds in the discolored patches on the skull. The makeup had gradually penetrated the skull during the body's decomposition, allowing these patches to retain some of the deceased's facial features from when they were alive. Angela reconstructed the victim's face based on this information and ultimately identified the deceased as Dion. Dion had been a bass player in the band Guttermouth. After Hodgins extracted samples from Dion's shoes, he found bovine tissue fragments and infectious bacteria, leading to the conclusion that Dion had visited a slaughterhouse infected with mad cow disease before his death. The forensic examiner also discovered numerous gunshot and knife wounds on Dion's right thigh and pelvis. The gunshot wound to the pelvis occurred very close to the time of death, indicating someone first shot Dion in the buttocks, then used a knife to carve out Dion's gluteal muscle in order to remove the bullet lodged in the body. At this point, the agents finally located members of Guttermouth, but just as they were about to show their credentials, the lead singer on stage immediately spat a glob of phlegm at them. The enraged agent shot out the sound system with his gun, and the Guttermouth members were brought to the interrogation room. The three calmly admitted they had killed Dion, but the agent didn't believe them, thinking they were just seeking attention. So the agent decided to play along. It turned out Dion had left the band a year ago. When Dion's departure was mentioned, Ahem sitting nearby showed a dejected expression. It seemed this person had an unusual relationship with Dion. Sensing something amiss, the agent immediately ended the interrogation and called Ahem in for a private conversation. Looking at photos of himself with his old friend, Ahem finally told the police the truth, claiming that Dion being turned into a skeleton was the work of the band Deathcore. Their band had deep conflicts with Deathcore, and fans of both bands had even gotten into fights. Soon, the agent interrogated Deathcore's lead singer. He said that 6 months ago, rumors circulated that Dion had died and his body had been buried under an overpass. Upon hearing this, he went and dug up the body, then stole a cross and strapped Dion to it, but claimed Dion's death had nothing to do with him. Angela pulled up all of Guttermouth's previous performance videos and found that midway through, a girl would always shoot at Dion. After being shot, Dion would start spewing blood. This scene was intentionally arranged by the band to liven up the atmosphere. Hodgins discovered that on one occasion, the girl had used live ammunition. The bullet had pierced through an instrument and entered Dion's buttocks. The bullet's entry point perfectly matched the gunshot wound on Dion's pelvis, so the agent brought in the girl. From her, they learned that a year ago, Dion had approached her multiple times, wanting her to abandon death metal with him and join a mainstream band. The girl believed that whoever killed Dion was probably some crazed fan from the audience.